And happy weekend, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's mailbag time. We got your emails at fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. That is the letter I, CBSI. And your Apple Podcast questions. Got a lot of those today. So thank you so much. Leave us a 5-star review. One of the reviews said Adam is the funniest on the show. You know that one's going to get read today. Jamie's already laughing because there's someone who's a little funnier than me today. It's Dan Schneier because he is bringing the comedy with his getup. I don't even know what I'm looking at right now.
I don't know what's wrong with it. It's a sweatshirt, it's a hoodie, and a hat. Look, I'm trying to test out in life if you can become a hat guy later in life. I've never been a hat guy, basically never worn hats my whole life. Then came down to Florida for the week, obviously worked from the office, and shout out Adi. He got me a couple hats. I like this one, the CBS Sports hat. I went golfing with Thomas, had a couple nice shots, hit 7 fairways to start the day off the deck, and I was like, I got to start wearing this hat more. Maybe I am a hat guy. I don't know.
You going golfing again today?
No, not today. It's a little cold out.
What's this? The sweatshirt? What is the sweatshirt?
This is just a regular hoodie. It's Lollygon. Shout out Lollygon.
Okay, this is
out New Jersey.
Stop acting like this is normal here. You're
What's
all
wrong
black with
You
white.
know what it is? You know what it is? This is what I figured it out. We spent now the last few weeks of making fun of his hair and the tight shirt, and he's covered up everything.
Yeah, you can't see the hair. You can't see the tightness of the shirt. Nothing. Look, it's a comfortable hoodie and a comfortable hat. I'm trying to become a hat guy. I don't know if it's a thing. We'll see. We'll find out.
They say that if you wear a hat every day, it makes you lose your hair. Yeah.
I have heard that, so I have to keep that in mind because I don't want to go down that route.
So I only do it 2 days a week.
Yeah, exactly. News and notes. Daniel Jones is out this week, and Brian Daboll did not commit to him returning this season. Let's get our Giants insider, Lil Dan.
Should I spit it like a mixtape? Like
it's close to Halloween. Dan's trying to be a member of the Beastie Boys.
What do you think, Dan? Is Daniel Jones out for the year?
I don't know how I could provide you any insight on this. I don't know what the situation is with the neck, but he has to get cleared for contact to play again. And he hasn't been cleared for contact. In my mind, it's like, what would lead to him getting cleared for contact? That I don't know, but it doesn't seem like something that can just be 6 days later will probably be cleared, or I don't know. So it's not looking good. I can tell you that because it's neck injury. He already had season-ending neck surgery in 2021. He says it's a different injury or a different area of the neck, but neck is not the biggest muscle in the world, so I'm sure 2 injuries to the same area is not a good thing. So it's a bad situation all around.
Yeah. You gotta go to youtube.com/fantasyfootball today and look at what he is wearing. And Robert says Dan doesn't have heating in his bathroom. All right, that explains everything.
It is a little cold in here because we haven't look, it's like a cold day on the northeast coast. These are the type of days I wonder if it is better to live in South Florida.
Oh,
we don't live in the northeast, Dan. We live in the northern east.
That's true.
As you would say. Zay Jones is out this week for the Jaguars, and more bad news for the Panthers defense. Brian Burns not seen at practice. Okay, that's all I got for news and notes now. Hopefully we'll get some things that pop up.
The Panthers will be getting a lot of, they'll see a lot of
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
Let's rank these fruits from Brian. This is what the mailbag's all about. Bananas, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, apples. Ooh, okay. Bananas, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, apples. Dan's going to start this with, I got a strong take on this. So go ahead.
I was going to start that with that. The tier 1 by far are the berries here. We're going to start with blueberries, a good blueberry, a good sweet blueberry. Now, you got to wait. Whenever you get your blueberries, this is a little trick I heard. When you get your blueberries, if they're sour at first, it's because they're not ripe. And that's why, and I never knew this. I thought some blueberries are just not as good as others and they're sour. So you got to wait for them to ripen. So you wait for them to ripen, a sweet blueberry. Then we'll go with a sweet raspberry. Raspberries suffer from the same thing that blueberries suffer from occasionally. It's too sour. Then we'll go strawberry. Got to get a good strawberry. And then a banana apple. Those are really like tier 3 type fruits.
Oh, wow. Jamie, there's no way you're going to agree with that.
No, strawberries are definitely the best. There's no question about it because they could be just fruit, they're dessert. There's just a lot. I mean, I guess all fruits can be dessert, but strawberries are the best. Strawberries would be 1. I would probably go banana 2. I'm going to go apples 3, raspberries 4, and just because it's to be different, I'll go blueberries last.
These are all tier 1 fruits, by the way. Like I would put apples. I would put apples in tier 2. Apple's going to be last for me.
Tier 1 is like mango, cantaloupe. Like that's the real tier 1.
Peanut butter and
Cantaloupe?
apples are the best.
A good cantaloupe is amazing. If you've
Jeez,
had a
what-
really
What
sweet,
time,
good
what time
cantaloupe,
what time is your bingo game? All right,
good
you know,
cantaloupe is
I'm gonna
amazing.
go. I'm gonna go strawberries 1. I'm gonna go bananas 2. I think I like blueberries better, but let's not forget how useful bananas are. I mean, they go with everything. I put some in my
True.
cereal today. You can make banana pancakes. You can make banana bread. Bananas, they're filling. They're good
Yeah,
snack.
because blueberry pancakes are terrible.
You know, I make pancakes every weekend with banana and blueberry, and I can say banana is definitely a more important ingredient to the pancake than the blueberry.
Yeah, but which ones do your kids like more, the blueberry pancakes or the banana?
So they're
pancakes?
both. They're both in this banana and blueberry pancake.
Okay.
Knowing the way Adam talks about his kids, they like everything that he does not.
Oh, we both like candy. We're gonna eat a lot of candy tonight. Anyway,
You gotta think about
strawberries, bananas, blueberries, raspberries, apples, and now we can talk about football.
Does Dan know what Heath's favorite fruit is?
No.
Oh, it's a tomato, right?
Oh my God, that is such a Heath take.
Right?
Come
And
on, Heath.
He's like, oh, you can. Well, it's,
tomato is a fruit. Technically, if you look up the definition.
yeah, exactly. All right, this
Adam,
is from
can I, before we get into football, the one last thing, and we should save nonsense, I agree, but this is something that I heard this week that just has to be addressed. You don't know how to flip a coin?
Oh,
Oh,
is
that's
that
what it was with your thumbs.
was?
That's what you said. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
You can't like successfully flip a coin?
You know, I can't really get the.
Oh
tongue
my God,
motion.
Adam.
It's
You think
kind
you're
of-
going to beat me in any kind of competition when you
Oh,
don't
I'm
have
sorry, I
the
didn't
functionality to flip a coin?
I didn't realize coin flipping was in our decathlon.
It's not that specifically, but it shows something with those motor skills is just not right.
So in
That's
travel
true.
baseball, they determine who the home team is by a coin flip. So if you guys were going to determine who's going to go first and who's going to get ball first or whatever things, Dan would win every time because
Just by
Adam does not
default,
flip the
yeah.
coin.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the emails now. Fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. This one is from Jeremy. He says, he's spoken. He said, dear Burt Macklin, Duke Silver, Janet Snakehole, and the Architect.
Oh, I know this, and Adam should too.
Yeah, I know it. Parks and Rec. I
Better
don't
shows than
remember
The Office.
no, it's not. I don't remember the last.
Considerably better.
Need your help picking a flex in a two receiver half PPR league. Pick one. Zay Flowers, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs.
Zay Flowers, Reggie Rice, and Josh Downs.
I like 'em all. I'm going to go with
Flowers is the easy one.
Only
Yeah,
one.
And I'll go Rice.
You
He
only
said
need
just
one.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Flowers.
Flowers.
All right, from Kerry. I'm 3-4 in a half PPR league. I need a win. Give me a wide receiver and a flex from Hopkins, Dobbs, Brian Robinson, Warren, and Spears. Hopkins, Dobbs, Brian Robinson, Warren, Spears. He could also pick up DeMercado. This is Jay Williams. That's got to be Jamal Williams. Akers or Singletary, but he'd have to drop one of the above. Okay, or she.
Ugh, this is not a pretty one. Let's start by saying that, Carrie. I'm gonna need. Give me a rundown one more time of those names, Adam.
All right, we've
Sorry,
got
bad
we need a
radio.
wide receiver and a flex. We got Hopkins, Dobbs, Brian Robinson, Warren, and Spears.
I'm gonna go Robinson as my flex. Don't really like any of the other options. I'd maybe Spears, but don't really like Spears with Will Levis / Malik Willis, so I think we'll get some snaps. That means I don't like Hopkins, but I don't like Dobbs either. I guess I'm going Dobbs. I have to pick. I only have two receivers to choose from, Dobbs and Hopkins, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, Dobbs.
Heath brought up an interesting theory the other day
Okay.
about would the Titans consider resting Henry and
Hmm.
Hopkins to avoid them getting hurt before the trade deadline.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go Hopkins. I think. Hopkins and
I would go Hopkins over Dobbs.
I guess Dobbs is so
Yeah, but
bad.
I
I
would
take it
also-
back. Give me Hopkins. I can't go Dobbs. It's just I can't do it.
I wouldn't mind picking up DeMercado though. I just don't know who I'd drop. I'd probably just ride with
I don't even think Dobbs is really rosterable personally.
half PPR league.
That offense throws for 130 yards a game, basically.
If those are your choices, yeah, you could probably drop Dobbs for DeMercado. If DeMercado's still on your waiver wire,
Then you have to start You have to start DeMercado over Brian Robinson in that case.
yeah, I would.
From Jared, do I trade Alexander Madison for Tajay Spears, hoping for a Henry trade? Madison is on my bench.
No.
If you're never playing Madison and your team is in really good shape, it's not a bad call.
This is from Nick. Deontay Foreman or Chris Olave this week, PPR.
Olave.
Olave.
Full PPR. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's some
From
good
Dave.
underlying numbers about Olave that suggest that a relative breakout could be on the way. I don't want to call it a full breakout with Derek Carr, but
I just can't take you seriously in this outfit.
Adam, at least there's two people on the show who are repping the company. You see the CBS Sports hat and you see Jamie's beautiful looking Super Bowl sweatshirt that I never was offered. I don't get any swag, but you know what? I got one piece of swag, so I'm repping it. Unlike you,
What's this thing?
Yeah, that board's been up forever, Adam.
Okay, it's a
Wear a
CBS
CBS shirt for once in your life.
If it looks like it does on you, I'm not wearing it. David wants to know who you would drop from his bench to pick up Tajay Spears. Rice, Warren, Lockett, Rashawn Johnson, Tank Dell.
Either Roshan or Warren for me. I'd probably lean Roshan.
Same.
I mean, the fact that Spears is on your waiver wire suggests that there's probably going to be a lot of good players on your waiver wire. So if you're not what were the receivers again? Tank Dell
It's
stood
a
out.
10 team half PPR league. Rice, Warren, Lockett, Rashawn Johnson, Tank Dell.
I might drop Lockett for him.
Wow.
Lockett's only had really 2 good games.
Yeah, Rashawn Johnson's at 0 though.
Right,
And
but there's still the chance of him becoming something. I don't know if Lockett's going to magically become what he was once again. And now he's hurt.
From Dylan. Believe it or not, Dalton Kincaid is a top 5 tight end rest of season.
Well, what's the status on the Knox injury? I know he has the wrist
Out indefinitely.
out indefinitely, surgery most likely, but we did see
had
JSN.
surgery.
We had the surgery, but we saw JSN come back from that pretty fast. I don't know the difference between that and the injury JSN had, but he came back in under a month. So for as long as he's out, yes, I do think he has top 5 upside. I've thought this from the start of the season. They're finally using him in better ways, in my opinion, not just like these around the line of scrimmage, play action, bootleg, dump it down, short A-dot type stuff. They're using him in the intermediate range, and I think there's a chance that he could start to really impact just like the deep intermediate range as well with his skill set. So I like him a lot. Top 5 is probably aggressive, but I'm okay.
He's not better than Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson. That's easy 3. I would still take Goddard over him. I would still take Laporta over him. I would still take probably Waller over him, especially with the better quarterback in New York now.
I don't know if I would. I think he could be anywhere from 4 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we had more to go on, but he's so talented. All right. What would a question from our Zach Brook, our producer? What would Dan's rapper name be? And I like this one here, Danilla Ice.
No, it's Schnei Guy.
Well, you have a name already. Look, he's giving himself a name.
Nah, it's just the nickname that I have that I've had as growing up as a friend, from the friend group.
MC Burger Stick.
What'd you say? Adam? I'm telling you, you got to keep the sandwich together. Nobody wants it sliding around, all the toppings sliding out.
This might be your worst take ever.
And can we just back it up a little? And nobody touched on this, but what Jamie said, he's like, I took Dan out to lunch just so I could observe him. No one found that one interesting. He's observing me. He's looking at all my things that I'm doing. That's what you said on last episode.
That's exactly what he should do. That's exactly what he should do.
What do you mean?
I took you out to lunch, period.
Okay.
Because I wanted to. And I wanted to observe you for the show.
MC Oreo cream. I like that. We know
that's where all the good people, Jamie, did we ever ask you this question? When you've had Oreos before in your life, right?
Yeah. No, we had
the best part of the Oreo. We've asked you this.
You've breathed air in your life, right?
No, Jamie seems like a first type guy who might have not had Oreos. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't eat junk food a lot. Even today, he's like, I had a crepe for breakfast. I never have a crepe.
Well, who has a
never
crepe?
Treat myself.
Who has a crepe? No one ever has a crepe.
That's true, but he's like, they've been in my house forever, and I finally decided to eat one. They're for the kids. But anyway,
what's your answer?
Oreo cream over Oreo cookie, obviously, right?
Oreo cream over, yes.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
It's not even the point of the. Okay, back to the show here. From Go
MC
Poke
toilet takes.
Jalen. I don't understand. What do you do with your burger that makes it move around so much while you're
No,
eating.
it's the toppings, Adam. It's any sandwich. Not first of all, this is not a burger. This is any sandwich. When they give you that,
What do you do with your sandwiches? I don't get it. Like, just hold it in your hands and eat the damn
Adam, when you
You just
take a
put
bite,
on
things
a
start. The
vibrating
toppings start to
chair
move around and
and
fall out. Like this is an obvious thing.
You know what it is Dan probably went to like a lot of like amusement parks as a kid, like and had hamburgers on roller coasters. You know?
Yeah, seriously. Like, sure, keep the stick in if you're on a roller coaster. All right, this is from TK, who says, "Go Pokes." Someone offered me Barkley and AJ Brown for Josh Allen. The best quarterbacks on waivers are Geno Smith and Jimmy Garoppolo.
I do it.
How can you not do that? But
Yeah.
you're going to suffer at quarterback big time.
Sure. So what? You'll get 10 points out of Geno a week, or 10 to 12 out of whatever Geno, and whoever else you can roll out there, and you get AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley. These are two of the only people who get like 10 plus touches a week.
Little flush. It's a great one from Zach. Thank you, Zach.
I like that. That sounds
From Mark, 2 flexes, please. Michael Thomas, Miles Sanders, Rashawn Johnson, T. Higgins, and Dalton Kincaid. Hopefully he started Kincaid. He said he was leaning Kincaid and Higgins. Is that how you would go?
Yes.
That's how I would have gone before the week. Yep.
All right, so let's say he didn't start Kincaid. Pick one from Michael Thomas, Miles Sanders, Rashawn Johnson.
I'm sorry, Thomas for me.
Yep.
Little flush. From Enrique, dear Tim, Victor, David, and Manu.
Those are all Spurs basketball players.
Look at you.
Yeah. I was first. I am so embarrassed to say this, but I was like, "Who's Victor?" But now I remember.
Oh wow,
I watched him the other night.
he's really
I'm a
good.
huge Titans fan. I love Derrick Henry, but I need to upgrade my team. I gave up Henry, Calvin Ridley, and Jalen Warren for Bijan and Garrett Wilson. Grade the trade.
A++.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm a little more lukewarm on it, but I give it an A-.
What do you look warm about?
I don't know if you hear that and you're like, so let's just break it down. So we have Ridley versus Garrett Wilson. I actually think that's a loss. I know you're not high on Ridley, Jamie. I think Ridley will eventually come around and be an asset.
Yeah, I think he'll come around, but I mean, Wilson, I think is still better.
Garrett Wilson. Okay, so I definitely don't with Zach Wilson rest of season, but I think it's probably, you're right, closer than I'm saying. But I don't know for sure if I think Bijan is the asset we thought he was preseason, and when that will happen, and if that will happen with Arthur Smith. It just doesn't sound like it's a priority for them, despite that they would help them win games. I put a clip on Twitter this week that I just thought was so funny. It was Desmond Ridder rolling out, scrambling out of the pocket. It was a broken play where Algier started to move upfield and go vertical. It ended up being a 44-yard gain, but he threw the ball out to Algier, and then he got tackled basically immediately after, within like 5 to 6 yards, despite having a pretty good angle, I think, on the safety if he wanted to cut and go vertical. And you saw him running out there. Some of the replies I got were, it looked like he was running in quicksand, Algier. And I was like, sure, Arthur Smith doesn't care about a fantasy football team, but what about his real life Falcons team? If Bijan Robinson was the player on this play instead of Tyler Algier, it would have been probably a touchdown for the Falcons.
But that was last week?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, Bijan wasn't available.
Right.
I know, but it's not like he has been playing a crazy amount before this headache.
But
All right.
Bijan, despite the lack of touchdowns, has been better than Henry.
Then who? Then Algier, or then
You're missing the point. You're giving up Henry for Bijan.
Right.
Right. It's an upgrade. It's definitely an upgrade. It's a good upgrade. That's why I give it an A-. It's a sizable upgrade, but then you downgrade in my mind from Ridley to Wilson. Less of a downgrade.
I can just give a number here for Bijan. Here are his touches every game. 16, 23, 14, 19, 16, 18. That's a pretty good workload, especially
What's Henry's touches at?
Henry has 2 games, I think, with more than 15 carries. You know, Bijan in his first 6 games, he had 26 catches. So, it's good for PPR. I think this is a very good trade. Anyway, we'll move on. For Cody here, Pickens or Nico Collins?
Pickens.
This week, Collins.
I'll stay with Pickens.
From Trey, I'm in first place in PPR. Would you trade Keenan Allen for Chris Olave and Dallas Goedert? I'm streaming tight end, and I currently have Trey McBride. And he also, by the way, has Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, and DK Metcalf. So would you give up Keenan Allen for Olave and Goddard?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. I just think Keenan Allen is still locked in and just getting so many targets. I mean, I guess you get the upgrade there at tight end, but I don't find it too consistent with Goddard.
This is from no name on this one, sorry, but in a non-PPR league, would you trade Josh Kelly and Jamar Chase? Probably should have led with Chase. For Kamara and Higgins. So it's
No.
Chase and Kelly for Kamara and Higgins.
No for me.
In non-PPR, no.
You'd rather have what side?
I'd rather have the Chase side.
I think I'd rather have the Kamara side, Kamara and Higgins.
Non-PPR takes a lot of the Kamara value out of the way. And Higgins still, I mean, look, I expect him to have a good bounce back end of season, but he's dealing with a rib injury that he said is going to be tough to play through all year. It's just a pain tolerance thing. Could get re-aggravated. Hasn't been consistent anyway. I just think Chase is by far and away the best player in this deal in non-PPR.
I would agree.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. And this is from, I don't even know who. I put from Mailbag, but there's no way that's accurate. Rank these in order.
From
Ridley,
Thursday.
yeah, from Mailbag. Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Nico Collins, Hopkins, Dobbs. How would you rank them for this week?
Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Nico Collins, Hollywood and Dobbs. Or no.
Nico,
Hopkins,
Ridley, Brown, Dobbs.
I go
Hopkins,
Ridley, Nico.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nico, Ridley, Hopkins. I'm sorry. Nico, Ridley, Brown, Hopkins, Dobbs.
I'll go Ridley, Nico, Brown, Hopkins, and then Dobbs.
Earlier, I think you said you were starting Dobbs over Hopkins.
No. Remember at the end of that segment, I said I'm coming back around to it, and I've changed my mind to Hopkins.
That's
It's just Dobbs is too bad. It was just
Jamie must have said
I have no interest in starting Dobbs this week or any point the rest of the season. None.
Okay. I was trying to insult you and you just kept talking. Make sure you watch our content, youtube.com.
I got free of an insult.
Nice work. YouTube.com/fantasy football today, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday morning. I see a comment in here. I agree with Jamie. Is that Dan's rapper name?
It's the first line of every bar.
Yeah, that's good. I agree with Jamie.
Exactly.
Adam is Levy. Let's take a break. When we come back, we got the Fantasy Cops. We're going to be grooving to the Fantasy Cops after this on Fantasy Football Today. Here we go, baby. Let's settle those league disputes. This one is from Adam in NYC. Dear some combination of Dave, Jamie, Heath, Chris, Dan, Jacob, and Thomas. And Zach, a friend of mine is in a work league with a serial dropper. A partner at their firm is 1-6 and doesn't set her lineup. She's playing the number one team, so my friend in third place asked her to set her lineup. Her response? Dropping Deebo Samuel and Justin Fields for Dobbs and Latavius Murray. There are IR spots that she didn't use. Now the number one team and several others with all of their fab left will have free reign, and my friend with about 50% left has no shot at either player. This is a 14-team league, so both players are very valuable.
Wow.
Yeah, so last year after I'll get back to that, but last year after not setting her lineup in the first few weeks, she dropped Breece Hall out of the blue. My friend claims that dropping these players is not a mistake, but she doesn't know better and sees they are hurt. Because she is a partner, she's his boss's boss's boss. He doesn't think there's anything he can do about it, and the commissioner doesn't want to get involved. The pot is over $1,000, so this isn't just fun. What do you do in a situation like this where the person clearly doesn't understand the rules, but is everyone's boss? So no one wants to kick her out or tell her that she made a mistake.
Oh, God.
First off, I think if they probably told her, that might be a good thing for you because, hey, you're pointing out a mistake that she might not want to make moving forward. Unless she just doesn't care because she's just doing it to, hey, I'm one of the people. I would probably point it out. But I think in this case, you just have to let the league play out as it is. Because if somebody's dropping players, they're dropping players.
Oh, I mean, I think there should be. First of all, isn't there a don't drop list anywhere on this, like whatever platform they're playing on or anything?
We don't
like
have that.
We don't have that. That's true. Which I'm not. But like, even if there's not, shouldn't there be some kind of? I don't know what you do in this spot though. I guess because you don't want to make it subjective for the commissioner to decide this person's worth drop. You can drop this person, but you can't drop this person. So that becomes difficult. So I think, sadly, like what Jamie suggested is what I'd go for, even though it's horrible for the league and it doesn't make. And you can't really be like, listen, your drops over there, they're not good. And
yeah, you can. I mean,
Well, maybe we don't know who this is. She might be really mean and scary.
Right. What if she's not
If
reasonable?
she's trying to be one of the people, for you, the people, then clearly she's trying to, play by the rules.
She
What
is
if,
technically playing by
as
the
an
rules.
alternatively, what if you had the other 11 people in the league privately say nobody is allowed to add the players that this one manager drops?
No way.
Why? It's
Then-
not really that fair. I mean, the people who have all the fab are going to get Justin Fields and Deebo Samuel.
So they'd just be sitting there on the waiver wire.
Okay,
all
again,
year?
so at what point do you determine that that's, somebody drops Tyjae Spears right now? Oh, hey.
No, this is one person who's a serial dropper who doesn't understand the rules and drop Deebo and Fields. You could say, hey, listen, if it's this person who did the drops, nobody's allowed to pick that player up.
Nah.
All right. All right.
No.
Next up, this is from Matt. Dear Fantasy Cops, I need you to weigh in on, you know what? I'm going to test the whole no vetoes unless there's collusion thing.
Oh.
So here we go. All right, dear Fantasy Cops, I need you to weigh in on a very questionable trade that happened in our longtime keeper league. The manager in last place, 1-6, has been in the league from the start. His trade partner is his childhood friend who's playing with us for the first time and is currently in the middle of the standings. The last place manager just traded away Kelsey, Cup, Najee Harris, and Gus Edwards.
Ooh.
Kelsey, Cup, Najee, and Gus for Cousins, Hawkinson, Rashad White, and Christian Watson.
Oh my
It is
God.
not
That's
a
horrible.
Superflex league. It is not a dynasty league. I was shocked when I saw the lopsided trade go through and messaged our commissioner who said that he didn't like it either. But after a split vote, it was allowed to stand. Am I wrong to be upset about this? It seems like a classic case of collusion. The team that's out of the race sending his best players to his buddy to help him make a playoff push. What should be done about this?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like collusion to me, it's like classic case is one way to term it, but I view it very strict terms. Like if you're colluding, you're either colluding or you're not colluding. And if you're colluding, there's no like hard collusion or soft collusion. You just should be kicked out of the league immediately, in my opinion. Both teams, if they're found to be colluding. I don't know how you prove collusion, to be honest. Like, yes, it seems very like you'd have to prove that the last place team is getting some of the money or some of the pot or something like that, right? Like, because how else do we prove it? I don't know, but it's a horrific trade, and I'm not for vetoes typically. But if there's collusion involved, I am for vetoes. So it becomes like, can we prove the collusion?
I agree with you, but the problem is that if they put it to a vote, so those two members clearly voted if they're allowed to.
Right.
They voted to allow the trade. And then there has to be at least 3 to 4 other people doing a 10-team league or 12-team league. How are they allowing this as well? Are they all colluding together? Are they all in agreement that it's not that egregious of a trade? So, if the commissioner's stuck and then he's trying to do his due diligence, say, okay, I don't believe this trade should go through, but I'm going to put it to a vote and we'll see what the league says. And the league says fine or split. There's really nothing you can do. But if you can prove collusion, then yes, you're probably going to get rid of those people in your league.
Yeah, because in this scenario,
How do
there'd
you
be at
prove
least 3 people voting that it's okay.
It's so hard. You can't prove it. And that is such a bad trade. Again,
Such a
those of
bad
you who don't
trade.
remember, Kelsey, Cup, Najee, and Edwards for Cousins, Hawkinson, Rashad White, and Christian Watson. I don't think it is like Hawkinson's very valuable. Maybe this manager needs a quarterback. He gets Cousins. Rashad White is now looking better.
Yeah, but Kelsey and Cup are like 2 of like the
Oh, this
6 or
obviously-
7 guys you can count on every week.
It's obviously a bad trade, but I don't think I would vote against it. But I do think, Matt, that you are right to be upset about this. It's terrible.
Yeah,
And
it
I'll say
does
this,
suck.
it's a warning. If this ever happens again between these two managers,
Right.
True.
then we start threatening.
Or in this case, if there was a history of it, and this is not the first trade, then it's
But
easier.
it is the first trade because this is first year in the league. Yeah. One of their first years in the league. Okay, last one. 12-team home league. The first place team attempted to make a trade with the last place team, their cousin, for Justin Jefferson. The first place team was giving up Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, and Jerry Jeudy for Justin Jefferson. I disallowed the trade, and I told the manager they need to offer the last place team some of his starters if he wants the trade to go through. Now the manager is complaining every day and asking that I allow voting on trades now. But this is the exact reason I have not done so. Was I wrong in disallowing this trade? Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, and Jerry Jeudy from the first place team to the last place team for Justin Jefferson.
I think you were wrong in disallowing this trade. This trade is fine. Justin Jefferson is out for a minimum of 2 more weeks, or I've seen up to 6. It could be 4 weeks. It could be longer. He could re-aggravate the hamstring injury when he comes back. That happened with Andrew Thomas, different player, tackle, but Giants tried to bring him back too soon before the Seattle Monday night game 3 weeks ago. Re-injured. Haven't seen him since. Won't see him for a while. Hamstrings are tricky. They're soft tissue injuries. Also factoring into this, if Vikings start, I know they beat the 49ers. If they get upset or they start to lose football games, there is zero incentive for Justin Jefferson to play football unless the Vikings are in the playoff race because he did not get that contract preseason. So this is not some unreal guaranteed asset. And you're giving up guys like Deontay Johnson, who if healthy can start. We'll see what the injury situation is there. Jerry Jeudy, I mean, not as much, but Kareem Hunt, who until Jerome Ford is back, should have a pretty nice role there. These are starters in some in deeper leagues, or if you're using flex spots, these are starters. Like, what do you expect him to give up? In my opinion, you can't give up the best of the best just to get a guy who's playing in 3 or 4 weeks and may not even play again this season. So I don't know. I think this trade is completely fine, and the commissioner shouldn't have vetoed it.
I think if there's a history of vetoing trades, whether you agree with it or not, then it's fine to veto this one. If there is no history of vetoing trades, then you should not veto this one. It's not that crazy because you are still giving the Jefferson manager some level of help.
Right. And they're last place. They need to win now.
Yes, but the point that the commissioner made, which I do agree with, is that's not the most realistic trade. However, that's not your decision to make. That's the manager's decision to make. So it does seem a little sketchy, but if you've been vetoing trades for a while now, or doing it, over the course of the time you guys have played in this league, then this trade is vetoable. But you should not be vetoing trades like this, blanket, just on a random situation.
And also, you should look into if anyone else has made trade offers for Jefferson from this manager. If it's like one of those situations where, it's clear there's collusion because they've gotten better offers, but they chose this one and it's hard to figure out why they chose one over others, then that's another factor that would make me maybe veto it.
Thank you, everybody, for your Fantasy Cop submissions. And let's move on to our Apple Podcast questions. Always appreciate those 5-star comments. This is a grade the trade from Noah. I gave up Ridley, Pollard, and Drake London. Ridley, Pollard, and London for Kirk, Bijan, and McLaurin. Ridley for Kirk, Pollard for Bijan, London for McLaurin.
It feels like a wash across the board.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I like the Bijan side a little better. I don't know how about you guys. A little better.
I think but I mean, it's like at some point there'll be a little bit of a balance where Ridley will start to play better than Kirk.
And
Pollard
London
and Bijan feels like a wash to a certain extent because I don't think we've seen the best of Pollard. We probably haven't seen the best of Bijan either, but his situation feels like it could get somewhat more murky moving forward than Pollard's does. So
let's see. I have waited all week and I kept forgetting to bring this stat up. It's my favorite stat. Did you know that Drake London and Devontae Smith have the same exact statistics this year, with the only difference being 1 target? London has 32 catches, 383 yards, 2 touchdowns on 49 targets. Smith has 32 catches, 383 yards, 2 touchdowns on 50 targets.
You know what the best part about that is? One is being viewed as a bust and one is being viewed as a breakout.
Yeah.
And I think I did a poll. Because I put this stat on X. I say that sarcastically to mock X. Who would you rather have? And I think it was overwhelming. Oh, yeah. So they have the same stats. Who would you rather have on your fantasy team? Devontae Smith got 73% of the vote over Drake London. I thought it'd be a little closer than that.
Well, you anticipate that he's going to be better.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer though. I also said, who are you taking rest of season? Etienne, Eckler, or Bijan? And Etienne got 61% of the vote. Eckler 25%, Bijan 14%. All right, next up from K Kid. What do you think of this trade in a 2 QB league, 14 teams? Josh Allen, Puka Nacua, and Javonte Williams for Joe Burrow, Tyreek Hill, and Drake London. So you go from Allen to Burrow, from Puka to Tyreek, and from Javonte to London.
I think I still like the Allen side better in 14
The only
teams.
thing is like you got to figure at this point London's better than Javonte, or safer than Javonte. Tyreek is clearly an upgrade over Puka, but not by much. Maybe by much. And Burrow, if he closes the gap on Allen, then that side wins, I think, hands down. But will he close the gap on Allen? That's the question. I don't think so.
I don't think so. And I think that gap is the biggest gap of all three options. So that's why I like the Allen side best.
All right, from Nikki Flash.
Can we go back to Jefferson for a second? Like, at what point does it become less risky or more risky to trade for him? As he's getting closer to his deadline and we're not hearing anything, or as he's getting closer to his deadline because he might return?
I mean, we're not going to, I don't think we're going to hear anything regardless, Jamie, because they're just not going to test it for a while, right? Like, there's no point in testing the hamstring out until he's right off IR and ready to practice again. So
well, they win this game. They're 4-4.
Okay.
And then it's one more week.
Right.
Till
But
he's eligible.
didn't we read that it's more like 6 weeks than 4? I thought that was the last update we got on it. That it was,
I don't know.
They're expecting more like 6 than 4. He's on IR for at least the 4. It's tough. It's tricky. Again, I just feel like with these injuries, there's a lot of re-injury and a lot of compensation injuries. Typically, it's just I'm not very. I'm very. This is what happened to me with Kupp this offseason, and I made a mistake. I moved him down my draft board too far, and now Kupp looks fine. So I just think it just depends. But there's a lot of examples the other way where it just they re-injure, they re-aggravate. It's tough to deal with. So I don't know. But
next question. Next, we ready? All right, Nikki Flash 77. Start one. Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, Deontay Johnson, Darrell Henderson.
Addison.
From UVA 1L. Team A gets Christian Kirk. Team B gets Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf.
Metcalf and Samuel.
I'll take Team B. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy one. From Dave from New Jersey. Dear Jermaine, Sharif, and Royce.
Ooh. Damn.
These are apparently O'Neill's.
Oh, yeah. Royce O'Neal. Yep.
I don't know who Sharif O'Neal is.
Shaq's son.
Oh, who's Shaq? Okay. Anyway, the question is, where the hell is the question? Stumped me. I was all over Google. I was able to grab Kincaid off waivers, so I traded Schultz for Darrell Henderson and Cortland Sutton. I love the show, and I'd love to whoop Dan in some golf in Southern Florida sometime. P.S. Schaefer sounds just like me on the golf course. Yeah, so trading Schultz for Henderson and Sutton. Good?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You have Kincaid. You might as well get what you can.
Right.
Schultz.
Who's going to trade for like Schultz, right? Like, you get pretty good value.
Henderson, look, he could play for a while. He picks up pass protection well, so that's a reason to stay on the field.
From Youngin is slicker. There's no way I said that right. Pick 2. Brian Robinson, Damian Pierce, Jalen Warren. PPR.
I'll go Pearson Robinson.
I will go Pearson Warren. I'm so curious what the Steelers do without Deontay Johnson. Now, remember, that was when Jalen Warren's pass game involvement was huge. Last week, we saw it somewhat crater a little bit. And the Jaguars, most of it is based on Alvin Kamara last week, but they have allowed the most receptions to running backs this season.
From Super Lame Sauce, I have Evan Ingram and Sam Laporta. I'm looking to trade one of them away before the trade deadline and their upcoming bye next week. Who would you trade away, and who should I target between Ingram and Laporta? What do you guys think?
I would trade away Ingram. I think Laporta is a little bit more of a role that I can get behind rest of season. As far as who to target for a player like Ingram, I don't think you're going to get much. I think you might want to target a player like a struggling receiver who could have some upside later, like a Jerry Jeudy, who we mentioned earlier, maybe somebody like him.
Ridley.
But I don't think you're getting Ridley for Evan Ingram.
Well, I mean, clearly, if someone's looking to acquire one of these tight ends, they're looking for an upgrade on that position too. So they may have some depth at running back or receiver. What I like to do in situations like this, where I'm not sold on who do I want to keep or who do I want to trade away, let the other manager value that for you. So go to the team that has a tight end hole, that has some players that you like, and say, here's these 2 tight ends. Make me an offer for one, and let's start a trade conversation. So they may say, they like Laporta better, and you might be getting some huge value in return for Laporta. They might say, I don't love Laporta, but I want Ingram. Here's something for Ingram, and then you decide. You could always counter.
I like that.
So Andrew is saying in our chat that Deontay said he's playing and that yesterday he was just being cautious. I did not see that. I may have just
Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, I think he was just
Andrew.
talking to the media, but I didn't see that update.
Andrew, I mean, we've been doing this for years, Andrew. You don't know how to spell Jamie's name still?
Come on, man. Come on, Andrew.
Come on, Andrew.
Jamey. Dan's going to rap about that.
I spell Andrew
The
Andru.
J, the A, the M, the E, the Y, the J, the A, the M. It's Jamie. It's Jamie.
I've never been
Oh,
here
man.
in my life.
All right, this one is from RJ Gilbert. Absolutely incredible fantasy advice from Dave, Jamie, and Heath, and sometimes Adam. Grade the trade. Dear Otto, Nelson, Carl, and Lenny. Otto. And then Nelson is, and then Carl is kind of like this. And then
Those are not bad.
They really do.
That was actually like the best thing you've ever done, I think, from an impression standpoint in your life, potentially in your life.
Which one, Carl?
The Carl was your best. That was elite
Really?
level Carl. That was. It's hard to do the voice you just did. That like, but the I guess that's easy, but it was still good.
Thank you. I've seen enough Simpsons. So,
enough.
Superflex Dynasty League trade AJ Brown and a 2024 and 2025 second round picks for Justin Jefferson.
No, giving way
Yes.
too much.
I'm doing it. Dynasty
You are?
for Dynasty. I'm doing it. I'm not even like looking back. Justin Jefferson is a much better asset than AJ Brown in Dynasty. He's the best asset.
We don't know who his quarterback's going to be. Like, what if it's terrible?
True, but we don't know. Also, like, I guess you're assuming he's definitely going to sign there. That we don't really. There's a lot of.
They're not
uncertainty.
letting him go. Are you kidding
Probably
me?
not. You're right. You either tag him, and you're right. They can't let him go, and they won't let him go. That's a good point with the quarterback. But I've learned in Dynasty through the years, Jamie. When I first started doing Dynasty redrafts, I used to always try to pair those players together. Like I paired. Oh, I want Tyreek Hill because he's got years of Pat Mahomes. Then he gets traded. Like there's just a lot of fluidity in player movement, both at quarterback and wide receiver position. I don't really like to base it on that now. I just base it on the talent and the age more so. And to me, Justin Jefferson is a much better
What's the
asset.
age difference on these two guys? It can't be more than
So
a year.
let's take a look. But also remember, AJ Brown has an injury history that Justin Jefferson has. So AJ
I'm
Brown's
sorry,
26.
Jefferson doesn't have a what? What is he dealing with right now?
His first injury. His first injury. AJ Brown has had off-season knee
How
surgery.
valuable are 2 second round picks? I think is kind of
Not that valuable.
It depends.
right. Like how good is right? I mean, how good is your team going to be if you're giving up the 2 second round picks? If you think you're going to be a contender and they're 2 late round picks, at least you really can only predict 1 year, I guess. But I think I'd do it. But I'm on the fence.
I mean, is this person in contention now?
Probably.
Probably not.
Well, he has AJ Brown, so
That's what I'm saying. Why would you give up AJ Brown? Like, I'm not moving
It
on
is
from AJ
weird
Brown if I have
to
a
be
chance to
making
win.
a trade for your future when you're giving up 2 picks. That is just a weird thing to be doing because it's obviously a trade for the future, as Jamie just said. But I just think it's worth it for Justin Jefferson. He's the
you know what? I'm
best
gonna
asset
say
in
no.
Dynasty.
I'm gonna
What's the
say
age difference?
I'm with Jamie.
It's only 24 to 26, but I do think there's something to be said about the offseason knee injury surgeries that AJ Brown has had. I know Justin Jefferson's hurt right now, but it's a hamstring injury he's not going to need surgery for.
Please, more impressions from Adam. His Dan and Heath ones have hit so hard.
What's
All
the
right.
Dan one?
Dan was, of course, you gotta leave the stick in the burger. It's gonna fall apart. You got the tomato. You got the lettuce. What are you gonna do? That's
pretty good. That's actually pretty damn good.
It was better this morning. This is from Beard. Please pick one: Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Jeff Wilson, or T. Higgins. I have Jamar Chase. Oh, Higgins.
Yeah, I guess Higgins. Off the bye.
From
Maybe he's healthier.
Fantasyland. Grade the trade. I gave up Laporta, Damian Pierce, Jamison Williams, and Jerry Jeudy. Okay, Laporta, Pierce, Williams, Jeudy. For Pitts, Nico Collins, Hollywood Brown, and Najee Harris.
B+.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like B+. It's a good one. Good grade. Uncle Stinkstonk again says, Dear Mr. Furious, the Blue Raja, Spleen, Shoveler, Casanova Frankenstein, and Captain Amazing. And he says these are characters from one of the funniest movies ever made, Mystery Men, which I did see once upon a time.
Never
But
saw that.
remember when people used to go to the movies, Jamie?
Yeah.
Mystery Men was a big deal. I think Ben Stiller was in it, right? And is that did they write the song All Star for that movie? Smash Mouth? I'm gonna look that up. Okay, anyway.
Wow, Jerome Ford at practice.
Well, oh, interesting.
According to Schefter, Ford surprised the organization with how he ran Thursday despite his sprained ankle. After testing Ford during today's practice, the Browns are listing him as questionable.
Wow.
Damn. Okay. Talk about that. By the way, it looks like Smash Mouth All Star was written for the movie Rat Race. But yeah, okay, what do you do with that information? What if Jerome Ford plays?
If Jerome Ford plays, I think you got to treat him as a flex, not a must-start guy, just because of the potential re-aggravation of the ankle injury. But they did say it was a low ankle sprain, so clearly he's feeling better. And it's a huge downgrade for Kareem Hunt if anybody's relying on him. So I think you just approach it like Ford's still the better of the two. Hunt still has a chance to be a contributor, but not as predominant. It's a really good defense that they're facing also with a bad quarterback too.
Okay. All Star was in Mystery Men, so just look it
I
up.
don't know how you remember.
What's Luke Musgrave's status? And Adam this morning, he was so thrown off by his order of his games.
Yes.
He must have said Luke Musgrave's not going to play, or what do we think about? Oh wait, Musgrave's out, or something about Musgrave like 75 times.
It was 3 times, and then Jamie kept making me say it. From Doc Payne, I'm trading away Brian Robinson. I'm trading away Brian Robinson in half PPR league for Drake London and Amari Cooper. Grade the trade.
Who are you giving up?
Brian Robinson for London and Cooper.
A+.
Yeah. Great trade.
From D-Tay, I need 2 running backs and a flex. Bijan, Mostert, Taylor, Waddle, Olave.
Yikes. Those are great options. Bijan, Mostert, Taylor, Waddle, Olave. I might just go all 3 of the running backs there.
How many you need?
2 running backs and a flex.
Bijan, Mostert, and who was the third running back?
Jonathan Taylor.
Bijan, Mostert, Taylor, Waddle, Olave.
I'm gonna sit Taylor for Olave.
I can get on board with that, but I think I'd play Taylor.
Wow. Okay. I was thinking of sitting Bijan for Waddle.
I'm not sitting Bijan though.
Okay.
Not with Tyreek back.
Crapping on Bijan. DJ,
What? No, I was not crapping on Bijan. Don't try to pull this apart. I just said the trade was an A-, and that was considered crapping on someone. I didn't give it the A+. All right.
You're crapping on Arthur Smith.
I was crapping on Arthur Smith.
And you're always crapping on the podcast, but in a different way.
Ba-doom.
Thank you. I have that sound effect. So this is from Eagles 0-1. Start or sit 2 in PPR. Okay, the first 2 are Cup and Puka, so no. So sit 2 of these guys. Olave, Addison, Flowers, Hollywood.
Hollywood and Flowers are the sits for me.
Yep.
Yeah. And he also goes on to say, Adam is 100% the funniest on the show. Makes me laugh all the time.
It's a shocker that you read that one.
Can't argue with that. Believe me. You know what? You want me to? I will read the Dan is the funniest ones right now. Okay, let's move on to Gunner's comment.
Dan is so much funnier than you. It's not even close.
Oh, you don't believe that?
Listen, how many stories have we told about you recently?
I mean, you're laughing at him, not with him.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that, Adam. I'm a character.
He's the one that has the stick in the burger.
Okay, would you consider Zach Galifianakis funny?
Yes, I would.
You're laughing at him a lot of the time.
I used to watch him when he was doing stand-up way before Hangover.
Okay.
Did you? Did you watch his stand-up back in the day?
I like stand-up, but I haven't seen his.
Oh my gosh. He did the funniest thing where he would just be really quiet on the stage and then he would scream at someone in the front row, just berate them out of nowhere. It was amazing.
That
Anyway,
explains a lot about you.
Yeah, it was so funny. You want to hear a good stand? Did I tell you this story? I think I've told this story like 5 times about when I went to a stand-up comedian.
I didn't hear it.
It was probably like 12 years ago. Whenever I lived in New York. Before
did you get heckled?
So I go, my friend says to me, he says, my friend is doing stand-up tonight and he needs people to sit in the audience. Will you come with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So it's like a very small room. I don't remember where it was. It wasn't at like a comedy club. I don't even remember. And I go and I'm sitting there, and the guy he's doing his material. He's like, yeah, I went to a movie by myself the other day. Anybody go to a movie by themselves? And I'm like trying to be nice to the guy. I'm like, yeah. I raised my hand. He goes, I'm just kidding, you freaking loser. Who goes to the movies by himself? It's like, dude, I came to your show for you, and you heckled me. And I used to love going to the movies by myself. Great time, freeing experience. Last one from Apple Podcast. Grade the trade. Team A gets Devontae Smith and David Montgomery. Team B gets Darrell Henderson, Deontay Foreman, and Calvin Ridley. Oh God. Team A with the W here.
Crushes this one. A+. All
right, we'll take a break. We got your YouTube questions when we come back. All right, YouTube, what's up? Looks like Ella.
Adam, can I tell you
going to the movies by himself?
Yeah, Ella might be going to the movies by himself next weekend. I'm doing something today that I've never done before, and I've
wearing a hat and a hoodie.
The hat and the hoodie. I'm not a hat guy, so that is new. So last week on Thursday, I was supposed to go to a concert of my favorite living band playing my favorite album by them front to back. But I had bought those tickets 5 months ago with my brother. But I was in Florida because for work. So
can I make a Dan on the Can front to back joke, or should we just let that go?
From the album.
Go ahead.
But because I was in Florida for work, I didn't get to go and I missed the concert. So this band is touring and they're leaving the area after tonight. Well, after tomorrow, but I have plans on Saturday. So they're playing a show tonight in Philadelphia. I asked a bunch of friends. Obviously, people don't want to drive down to Philadelphia. It's a ridiculous thing to ask. I don't have anyone I know who lives there that wants to go to this type of concert. So I'm going to this concert. I'm driving down after this podcast. First, I'm going to play some poker at Parks, and then I'm going to go to this concert alone. I've never been to a concert alone before in my life. I bought GA, so I feel like that's a good ticket to get because you're standing. Have you guys ever gone to a concert by yourself or considered this? Is it weird?
I've done it. No, it's not weird at all.
I went to have a great time, right?
I went to Oasis at Madison Square Garden by myself.
Okay.
And what's the band by the way, you said you're going to play poker. You're going to change before you go, right?
Obviously.
Okay. What band?
Fine poker attire. It's just not great concert attire. It's fine poker. I'll be one of the best dressed people in a poker room. But the band, Andrew, is My Morning Jacket.
Oh, okay. Chris won't go with you?
I told Chris about it, but no, he's not going to drive to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a crazy idea. You got to drive all the way down there.
I drove to Philadelphia 3 weeks ago by myself in the horrible rain because we were getting hit by a hurricane or a tropical storm or whatever. Went to a football game, came back later that night. Wasn't that bad. It was 2 hours for me. How long?
I'm going to drive back. Yeah, it's only a couple hours. So
can you take a train?
Could take a train.
I could take a train, but I want my car with me. I'm going to play poker first.
All right. I love it, Dan. Good for you, man. All right, let's hear here are some of the questions. I'm in a loneliness competition and my opponent is Dan. Not weird at all. Good way to make friends, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, there's no chance Dan's making friends.
No, I doubt that. Dan, I've been to dozens of concerts by myself. Bring something to entertain you between sets. Not a bad idea.
Okay.
Would you drop Christian Watson for Tajay Spears?
If that's the worst player on your team in a 10-team league, again, the fact that Tajay Spears is available, there's going to be a lot of talent on the waiver wire. So 10-team leagues, you got to make some tough choices. Like somebody in my league, because of bye weeks, they dropped T. Higgins, and I just dropped Tyler Lockett to pick up T. Higgins. So you're going to get situations like that.
What do you think of trading Gabe Davis and Isaiah Pacheco for Breece Hall in my Dynasty League?
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
Just do it fast before this offer's off the table. We're talking Dynasty.
Traveling across the country by yourself is insanely cleansing, by the way. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think I could do that.
I agree with Jersey on that. I think that would be a cool thing to do. I've always wondered if I could do that, like a road trip and then relocate. But anyway.
Henderson or Madison?
Madison still.
Henderson for me. I'm worried that we see more Cam Akers.
Jersey, I really hope you started Kincaid over Ferguson. Zach Moss or Jerome Ford at flex?
I'll take Ford if he plays.
Yeah, can't not. Ford for me too.
All right, let's sit one. Puka, Olave, Kirk, Collins.
I'll sit Nico.
I'm sitting Kirk.
I have Christian McCaffrey, and I lost Chubb and Kyron Williams. So pick 2 from this group. Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf, Zach Moss, Kareem Hunt.
I'll take DK and Hunt still.
DK for sure. And Deontay if he plays in full PPR.
Oh, this is funny. Why did the fantasy analyst start a bakery? So he could get points for turnovers. That's good. Coach. I like that. Grade the trade. Give up Eckler and Ridley for Taylor and Garrett Wilson.
Ugh. D.
A.
Hey, you'd rather have Taylor and Garrett Wilson than Eckler and Ridley?
I think Taylor, if he looks like he did last week, and the way Eckler is struggling right now with his injuries, Taylor's going to – if Taylor was 100%, he would have been ranked right up there with Eckler coming into the season.
Not by me.
And right now, he's looking like the better player.
But he does. Part of the reason I didn't rank him so high was because I thought Richardson would steal some of the red zone touches, which is no longer a worry. So I give you that. I don't know what this Garrett Wilson thing. Like he's getting targets, but they're terrible targets, and he's not really producing at the level we want. Like what's going to change there to make us
And
feel
Ridley
comfortable?
is?
No, Ridley's not. I know.
Yeah,
They really should consider.
I'd rather have Wilson than Ridley.
They should really consider changing up Ridley's role occasionally. Like I love Doug Peterson. I have a ton of respect. Think he's one of the best offensive designers in the NFL. But just leaving him in the boundary every single snap, like this is the type of dude who can do damage for you in the slot at times. The Falcons did it, used him there, and they're just not using him in that role.
I think this is from
Fire.
I want to get the chart right. From Underdog Fantasy.
Maybe Jacob Gibbs had some stats on Garrett at least this week that I saw.
From Underdog Fantasy. Over the middle throws, the 3 worst teams over the middle throws are the Bears, the Jaguars, and the Jets. Now, 2 of those have quarterback concerns. Young quarterbacks, you think that's typically where they're afraid to throw. Trevor Lawrence is not throwing over the middle.
Yeah.
All right, Downs or Foreman this week? Half PPR.
Foreman.
Garrett Wilson or DK Metcalf?
DK.
Wilson.
Downs or Tank Dell?
Downs.
Full PPR. Downs for full PPR. Too much target volume.
Zay, Higgins, Deontay Rice. Pick 2. Zay, Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Rashee Rice.
He wants floor over ceiling.
Zay's the easy one, and then I would probably still go Higgins.
I'll go Zay and Deontay for floor as long as Deontay plays and he's fine.
Would you trade Bijan, T. Higgins, and DJ Moore for Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, and Cortland Sutton?
No.
I don't think so. It's closer than I'd love to get Jamar Chase out of this, but I still don't think I can do it.
If you could take out the Henry and Sutton part and maybe take out if you could take out DJ Moore, so Bijan and Higgins for Chase.
Yeah.
If that can get done, I do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You would give up Bijan and Higgins for Chase.
100%.
But you wouldn't give up DJ Moore for Derrick Henry and Cortland Sutton.
No.
I think you might be underrating Derrick Henry a little bit. He has.
I don't know where Henry's playing.
Yeah.
All right,
if he moves to the Ravens, though,
blockbuster trades at the trade deadline are still pretty rare, right?
Yeah.
Any team that's going to be trading for him is going to want to use him and probably be an upgrade for him, I would think. He's not going to go to some crappy last place team that stinks.
Right.
He's going to go to a contender that's going to want to use him.
But is he going to go to a team where he's going to get the touches that we love to get from him?
That's he's probably not going to get traded. I mean,
if he doesn't get traded, it might be worse.
It's worse if he doesn't get traded. Without Tannehill, it's so bad. It's going to be so bad without Tannehill.
All right. Well, all right. It's just, he's not having that bad of a year. He's had 2 terrible games and 4 certainly games where you'd be starting him.
What were his numbers? I don't know if you have them in front of you, Adam, but his numbers with Malik Willis last year were just horrific, weren't they? No targets, just Derrick Henry.
Honestly, I don't know the rushing.
That offense, I just remember that offense getting like 6 first downs a game.
No
targets. What if he goes to Dallas?
Why would he go to Dallas? Why would they do that?
Because Pollard hasn't been the guy that they hoped.
But Henry hasn't either. He's not going to Dallas.
Have you met Jerry Jones?
I will. Oh boy, I will lose some sort of bet with you if they go to Dallas. And
I don't think it's happening either. But like Buffalo, Dallas, like these teams that aren't happy with their running back situations that are contenders are going to be in the mix.
The
Yeah,
problem
Buffalo-
is for all those teams, it's like also a situation where every one of those teams, Dallas and Buffalo, did, because they're contenders, they did like manipulate their cap situation to where they don't have like any cap space at all to work with right now because they've maxed their roster out depth.
I don't worry about cap space because they could
Yeah.
cut players. It's more like what are they giving up to get him? Because the
All right,
Titans
we
are
got-
still going
Titans
to
would
want
have to
something
take some of
significant.
that
need
salary.
some
though.
more
I don't
here
think
before we
AT's
leave.
taking the whole thing.
All right. Start to Ridley, London, Higgins. Who you starting?
London
Ridley for
and
me.
Ridley.
London, Ridley, Higgins, and Ridley. Okay. Bench 2 of these. Garrett Wilson, Aaron Jones, Pickens, Foreman, Javante. Bench 2.
Devontae and Jones.
Half PPR. I'm going to give different advice. I'm going to go Jones and Garrett Wilson as my bench.
Do you know what number 1 receivers have done against the Giants this year? Oh, here's why you hate Garrett Wilson. He's playing the Giants this week.
No, not. The Giants are a terrible team. I'm the first to admit that. I've just watched Zach Wilson too much. I don't like. First of all, Giants are not the best matchup
hey.
from this. What?
I want to read questions before we leave because we're at an hour already. So,
Okay. Let him
man, I'm pretty much out of questions. All right, choose the
just
last
cut
one.
off that rant just to get into this. Go ahead.
Choose one: Amari Cooper, Josh Downs, or Ken Walker.
Walker, if he plays, is easy.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'll go Downs over Cooper.
Downs over Cooper.
All right, thanks, Echo. DJ Echo in the house.
What am I supposed to? If that's the answer, what am I supposed to say? What would you
Yes.
rather me have said there? Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. If I believe that Downs is a better start than Amari Cooper, and Kenneth Walker is obviously a play if he's healthy, would you like me to say? I'm just curious.
I would just
Are you wearing sweatpants?
because you said the same exact thing that Jamie said. Jamie said Downs
Yeah,
over.
what was it? What's a bet? You just have to phrase it differently. There's no added value to me saying,
Same
actually,
crap.
yeah, I play Coop. Like I could tell you why, because Downs has a good rapport with Gardner Minshew, and I don't like. And even though Amari Cooper did okay last week with PJ Walker, or he's had okay moments with him, I don't like PJ Walker. Like there's obviously some rationale to it, but we're trying to do rapid fire here, Adam.
All right, you know what? I'm not going to take any criticism from a guy who on Friday night can't find a single person to hang out with and is driving 2 hours just to be with other people.
Wow.
Was
That
that
hurt,
me?
Adam. No, I'm kidding. I don't care about anything.
Oh, wow.
For a second, you thought I almost got you there for a second. Like, did you actually hurt me? No, you're good.
I crossed the line. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Sunday morning. See ya.